Welcome to Uping Stock Trend Prediction channel. So in this video, I'll talk about the prediction and analysis of Tesla stock price fluctuation for the next week. I will provide estimation or prediction of the weekly high and the weekly low for the next week. So today is May 6th. So in the last video, I already talked about the prediction of the last video 128 loaded to YouTube at the last day of last month. So that's basically the prediction of the first week of May, and my prediction of the weekly high and the weekly low was fulfilled with just only $1.8 for uncertainty or difference. That's just 1% of uncertainty between the predicted weekly high and the weekly low compared with the actual weekly high and the weekly low for Tesla stock price. So for the next week, I will talk about the weekly high and the weekly low. So this is a Tesla weekly chart and this is a Tesla daily chart. So that means if you select the daily chart, for example, each vertical bar is 1 day's fluctuation of the Tesla stock price, and all these kind of trend lines are the predicted trend lines for the target high and the target low. And the tip of these trend lines are basically the predicted target high and the target low. So it depends on the closing price and also the opening price and the trend, all this kind of trend lines. So basically I can provide a reasonable or good prediction of the weekly high and the weekly low. So and for the last week, for example, last week this price, the weekly high and the weekly low was predicted in last video 128, and when it reaches to the bottom, to the minimum price or the low price, and it's almost touches this trend line, but and then it started to return, but the only difference is about $1.8 of difference, and also reached at the last the closing price, it reaches slightly above this trend lines. So that's also a major milestone, and these trend lines are still have the uptrend line, and this daily also show this kind of uptrend line. So but if you check this, the monthly chart, for example, the monthly chart, this kind of trend lines has slightly decreased trend, but this trend lines for the next month's prediction, and this for the current month, the target high and the target low is depend on these points of the trend lines. So these points are not changed from the last prediction, similar to this kind of points at the tip of these trend lines that's predicted in the last video after the last month is completed. So basically when the new month is started here, then the original predicted price at the tip of this trend lines then becomes this point, becomes the current trend line, are also unchanged from what was predicted in the last video when the last month was completed. So you see this monthly chart, this is the current target, the predicted the monthly high and the monthly low, because this trend lines, this point are not changed and was already generated during the first data point of this month. So basically that's unchanged, predicted high and the low at a different range, and it's predicted price because this month is still not completed yet. Today is May 6th. That's just the first week of this month. So there's still room for this increase of this. So this month still have generally the general trend. It may still have a very good tendency to increase to this point. This point is about 100 $178, but right now, based on another point, and this daily chart and the weekly chart also have increased to a relatively higher price and above this trend line. So even though these trend lines have a very good upward trend, and because it also reaches to another resistance, so in early week it may still have a little bit fluctuation, may drop it down even to this $167, and the target high is $175. So the basically fluctuation range is around this range. $167 and $175. And if you change it to this weekly chart for the next week, and this weekly chart, this tips is the predicted price for the next week. So at least it will cover this range. So next week, if it is still above this point, that's $168. So if it's still above this trend line, above this point of price, it still have a very good increasing momentum and trend, and it will fluctuate in this region, at least cover this $168 and this $174, at least cover this range, and will try to push up to this $181, but it not very likely to reach all the way to this $181. It has this possibility to reach this $181, but it's probably may just stop around this $178. But it still have a possibility that it may drop below this yellow trend line. So if it dropped below this yellow trend line, then its target low could becomes $161. So it's basically trying to retest this kind of a low, and so the main fluctuation range is around this range. So if you are interested in this kind of a fluctuation analysis and the prediction of the weekly high or weekly low, so you are welcome to subscribe to Uping Stock Trend Prediction channel, or watch more video in YouTube. Or this kind of tools are also available in upingstock.com, website online store. So you are welcome to subscribe that YouTube channel, or purchase this kind of a tool.